I find the notion of the black pill pretty detestable. If you are unfamiliar or uninitiated with the rhetoric of the black pill, it goes something like this. If you are biologically disadvantaged as a man, then there is very little that you can do in order to attract any kind of quality woman into your life. It puts a huge emphasis on determinism, in that there are factors outside the remit of your control which cannot contribute or cannot bring you a high quality woman into your life. And I don't jive with that idea at all. So what I thought I would do is I would share with you 5 areas of female attraction you can control, and you can start to play around with those variables and make it more likely that you can bring these high quality women into your life. So we're going to begin here with reproduction rules. So healthy body, strong body. Evidence suggests that attraction is purely predicated on virility and vitality, meaning that women, when you strip away the pompous, materialistic and very superficial nature of the dating arena, they really value men who can give them healthy offspring. And this makes complete reproductive sense, in that they just want the continuation of their genes and to be able to imbue their children with characteristics that will also add to their longevity, their vitality, their quality of living. So one thing that you can do, which I know is trite, I know is cliche, I know is something that you've heard of before, is to continue to exercise well and eat very healthy to contribute to this healthy body and strong body. A little nod to semen retention here, because what I believe what you're doing when you are retaining your semen is that you are increasing the quality of your reproductive fluid, and therefore the attraction that is a precursor to the attention that you're getting from women is a consequence of that virility. So, judging a book by its cover, interesting phrase, is something that you should be doing, or that women are doing in respects to finding a appropriate mate. They are trying to determine whether or not that individual is going to have, the necessary genes that they need in order to transfer to their children. And you can tell a lot about that, or you can surmise a lot about that by the appearance of somebody. A strong body also equals a strong mind. When I look at a man who has put a lot of work in the gym, who has clear skin, very healthy, and has a lot of energy, it also tells me that this can only occur through disciplining his mind, disciplining the way that he's approaching things. And this is evidence of a protective capacity as well. So if you are physically, a force, if you're physically domineering and aesthetically pleasing, it's also evidence that you can have protective capabilities as well, which is certainly going to be valued by the opposite sex. So I know we had to talk about it, guys, but this is another reason why I believe that you shouldn't be so heavy on the black pill rhetoric, and you should also consider the factors which are in the remits of your controls, as also hygiene principles as well. It's interesting to me how sensitive the opposite sex is towards smells, particularly, the opposite sex, particularly women. So there was some evidence to suggest that hedoine, which is a chemical that is derived in a lot of perfumes and aftershaves. I believe the brand was, I want to say, Christian Dior, where they first found this. It actually stimulates sex hormones in the parts of the brain which are associated with that kind of activity in women. The same is true, but much more potent for testosterone. I've often made the case that every single creature in the animal kingdom excretes some kind of pheromones. The only ones that haven't been recorded are men and women, and that's because we are always in a kind of mating season, meaning that we always have access to artificial sex, which tricks our biology into thinking that we're always mating. But if you go for a long period of time abstinent, you'll notice that you get a reaction from the opposite sex. And this is another indication of healthy virility, and also polarity. So you're embodying the masculine principle as well, which is testosterone, and the estrogen hormone is the antithesis of that. So what can you do beyond just optimizing testosterone with the things that you know about already? Lifting weights, good proteins, fats for good hormone health, fasting, sexual continence. Be sensitive towards inhibitions to scent. So smoking, of course, is going to be terrible for the way you smell. Binge drinking as well. Eating garlic can actually destroy bacteria in the body. So it's very, very good to have a lot of garlic in your diet, and it's also not bad tasting either. Fast foods will actually secrete in your bodily fluids as well. Sometimes I can even tell if people have been binge or eating terribly the night before, because there's quite a potent odor, and you can even tell sometimes what food it is, especially if it's like a greasy pizza or something like that. And also non-toxic body wash, not detergent. A lot of shower gel and shampoo are the same chemicals that are used in, this kind of stuff that you clean your kitchen surfaces with. So I think it's really important for you as a man to invest in good, organic, high quality body washes. I'm actually not an affiliate with this brand, but I'm trying something called Dr. Sasquatch or something like that at the moment, and it's just a bar, and it's got like some natural grits, natural pore stimulating surfaces on the soap, and it's actually really, really good, and I'm experiencing some positive benefits to that in the form of certainly the way I smell, but also the fact that it's not toxic. So smell, don't underestimate hygiene in general. Let's talk about captivating clothing. So fitted apparel is always going to be something that you should lean on, as opposed to these big branded clothings. I've always found that an individual who relies on big brands, your Supreme, I'm trying to think of one, the Balenciaga, Versace, all these like really, really outlandish and loud brands, is a deep sign of insecurity. And it also tells you a little bit about the psychological temperament of that individual. Typically, it's of a child psychology. I remember when I was younger and I was a teenager, and even in my early 20s, I was wearing these kinds of brands. And it stemmed deeply from a idea that I wanted to be recognized for the clothing that I wear. So it comes across deeply insecure, and again, psychology of that of a child. So I really think the best kind of wear for men, if you're planning to become more attractive to women and more stoic and more masculine, is just fitted clothing. If you've got a good body, if you've got a good physique, like you should be doing already, you shouldn't be hiding it behind these big baggy Balenciaga hoodies. You should be wearing stuff that is fitted nicely and minimal brands. You want to be wearing your clothes and not your clothes be wearing you. And that's what I think about whenever I see an individual wearing Balenciaga or anything like that. Symptoms of high T, so facial hair specifically. Studies have indicated that facial hair is more attractive. I think it's about 72% of women find facial hair more attractive, particularly as it can enhance features of the jawline. So it can kind of thicken the squareness of the jaw, which is actually a big indication on what women find attractive near menstruation. If you struggle with growing facial hair, minoxidil is something that I've heard people have used to increase the thickness and the frequency of the follicles that can appear on the face, especially when you supplement it with something like biotin. With all these things, it's important to mention that you can't supplement your way out of a poor diet, so make sure you're eating good, nutrient-rich food, especially offal. So liver, heart, kidney, all this kind of stuff is going to be very, very good for natural health, because that's what it's indicative of. That's what is the perception of somebody who has good hair on the head and on the face, is that it's a sign of health and virility. Let's finish off with maturation rules. You would have heard this phrase that men reach their sexual market value between the years of 30 and 40, and that's purely predicated on the fact that women will value the things that men get later on in life, okay? So this is number 2 here. You have more money when you're older. You have more status, more experience, more assets like houses, more resources, and more competent. You'll be smarter. You'll have had more experience in the dating pool and be able to muddy through the bullshit tests that women will get you taking more often than not. This is also something interesting that I discovered, is that women who date older men are often more feminine than women who date men of a similar age. And I think that comes because of the sensitivity to the masculine energy, and it peaks again in this kind of age group. And because very, very feminine women will, I mean, attraction is polarizing. I mean, it's positive, negative. You know this. Women who are typically seeking older men will have naturally more feminine psychology, so more submissive, more nurturing, and will want to play that kind of, that role. Also, in relation to grey hair, as some people have noticed, I'm getting a little bit of salt and pepper action on the side here, is that a study in Match.com found that 72% of men also rated men with grey hair as more distinguished, and it's the sign of this maturation, competence, and overall attractiveness in that particular demographic. So gentlemen, I just wanted to share that with you today. These are factors that are inside the remit of your control. They are not, like the black pill would have you believe, a losing battle irrespective of your biological genes that you have inherited from your mother and father. These are things that you can do today, tomorrow, and for the rest of your lives that will have significant impacts on your ability to bring high quality, attractive, feminine women into your life. But like I always say, gentlemen, these are just theories. Try them out for yourself, and I will bring you something else very, very soon. Take care.